This your DJ Unga for the Jam Rockin' Show. 95.7 FM on your radio dial in the greater city and all of Indiana. Fort Wayne, that is. Tune in.
What your hands do, it's your own eyes that have seen. So won't you judge your actions to make sure the results are clean? It's your own conscience that is gonna remind you that it's your heart and nobody else's that is gonna judge. Be not selfish in your do.
And good evening, or good night, wherever time you're listening to this program. This is The Consciousness. Welcome to The Consciousness. My guest this evening is none other than a very beautiful lady, Alex.
Hello, thanks for having me.
How are you? And I want to finish the rest of the introduction of yourself to the people who are viewing us right now.
Sure. My name is Alex Hall. I'm a studio artist, muralist, and I also do public art consulting.
That is cool because I do dabble a little bit with the brush and paints, you know what I mean? Nothing great. Eugene has seen my work, yes, but, you know, I just need to do more, you know. So this evening, I want to let my listeners or viewers know what you do here in our fair city.
Oh, goodness.
Alex, what do you do in our city?
So, well, originally I started as a struggling artist, trying to build a business and build a rapport and a client base as a painter. And that has now grown into a really nice partnership with the City of Fort Wayne and Downtown Fort Wayne Improvement District, where I get to facilitate public art all over the City of Fort Wayne as my job.
Which takes me back to, I noticed, like, I don't know, early last year, things been happening around our city, our alleys have been transformed now. Our little brick alleys have been transformed into a place you want to walk because of these murals that are on the wall. And it's like, wow, we're becoming a city. You know what I mean? I'm accustomed to see stuff like that in New York or, you know, the major cities around that you may go to, you know.
Right.
And to see Fort Wayne doing something like that, it's just wonderful. Did you have anything to do with the, how you say, the promenade?
So not Promenade Park. I won't know. I was not involved in all of that, but there were so many people that brought us that park, and isn't it great?
I think that's one of the best thing that has happened to Fort Wayne for a long time.
I agree.
It allows people. It allowed people to walk downtown again. So you go to the Promenade Park and you chill for a while and you just do whatever, you know, in a dating meeting, whatever that happens there, and then you stroll into the city, and you know, there's so much transformation because you have all these beautiful murals, and I see. Well, let's go into that alley, and there's one. Let's go to that alley, and before you know it, you've done like a alley tour, you know, and it's great for me, you know, to see. You know. So
part of what I've really enjoyed is because I've really only found myself very involved in this community for maybe the last 8 years, and it's really so many pieces suddenly coming together all at the same time, right? You had like the Tin Cap Stadium that got built, you have Promenade Park that just got unveiled, but you also have all these developments, the landing just reopening, and then
the landing.
Yes,
what a transformation.
Right, and so you're just starting to see all of these pieces colliding at the same time, and our city is this like beautiful blossoming thing, and people are just now discovering.
It's getting ready to explode.
Yes.
That's why I say Fort Wayne is going to be the most talked about city in all of Indiana.
In the region, for sure, and all of Indiana. And the people in Indy are so surprised, Indianapolis are so surprised when they come up here and see it.
We have the best bike trails along the River Greenway. That is phenomenal, you know. But we lack a lot of things, you know, and that will come. And then we are the most ethnic melting pot right now. For we
Yes.
have pretty much every um, group represented here. We have the Haitians, we have, you name it, Africans and Jamaicans and all kinds of people come to this dance. You know what I mean?
We have one of the largest populations of people from formerly Burma, now Myanmar.
Yeah.
So that's also something to talk about. I mean, that's
That's
a
a new
huge
culture that
percentage
is
of
in our
population.
society.
Yes, and
Yeah.
it's really exciting to see that we're also experiencing that cultural diversity shift, and I love that. And at the same time, this like growth in the city, and it's all just so positive.
Let me stray a little bit here.
I'll go with you.
And for me, let me speak for myself. I'm of the feeling that when you have diversity in the ethnic box, whatever, it reduces racism in a sense.
It has to,
Because that is a subject that we cannot really move away from. Because move away from it, we don't address it. We don't make it better. You know, all people should be proud of who they are and their heritage and all like that. I just don't want one to be fighting one because I got to stand up on this mound and I'm taking the hill. You know, we all can take the hill. You know what I'm saying? But I think when you have a society that is so diverse, it makes it more friendlier.
It's true. You have a face for the people that you know, and you have now a broader understanding of what normal is and
where
what
they
people
came
should look
from
like and where they
and-
come from, and they're
yeah.
different than you, and that still makes them absolutely wonderful
We all different but the
people.
same.
Exactly. and people fear what they aren't exposed to and what they don't know.
And what they don't know.
And changing that is happening.
And some
that's
people
part of
don't
the
like
goal.
change. But I think the way how change is happening in Fort Wayne, it is so subtle and slow that you don't realize that it's happening. Because you drive downtown, say you drove downtown last week, and then now this week, well, that wasn't there last week, or did I miss it? You know what I mean? What's going on here? There's a new building here. Wow. When did this go up? You know, and that's why I see Fort Wayne. I see Fort Wayne as a place that people in the rest of their, you know, as wide as Americans go, we got to visit here. We're going to start to develop a tourism thing here where people are going to want to come here overnight, watch a game or something, because we have the venues for games, any kind of game you want to think of, you know. And, you know, just to involve yourself by walking around, you know. We're going to take a little break right here. We come right back, okay? Not right.
Stir it up, little darling, stir it up. Come on, baby, stir it up, little darling, stir it up. Whoa. It's been a long, stir it together. Since I've got you on my mind, ooh, yeah. And now you are here. I said it's so clear to see what we could do, baby. Just me and you. Come on and steer it up.
And now we're back. And I'm glad you stayed with me. Now, my heart is in a very different place right now. I must tell my listeners this. I'm talking to you. Bunny Wailer. Most of you don't know who Bunny Wailer is, but you know Bob Marley. Well, when Bob Marley started out, it was Bunny, Peter, and Bob. And that made up the Wailers. Most powerful reggae of all times. Yeah, it came out of those three men, you know. And then they went their separate way after years, and you became solo, and in their own rights, they were just powerful in their own rights, just just the same way. And for me, it's like I miss the fact that I won't hear anything new from Bunny Wailer anymore, or Bob Marley, or Peter Tosh. We can just live in the memories that they left us, the legacy that they left us, So, yeah, my heart goes out to Bunny Wailers, and condolences to the family out there, Yeah, but they're everywhere. Yeah. Now, back to Alex. Where were you born, Alex? You were born in Fort Wayne?
I was born in Indianapolis, so not too far away.
So you're still you're a Hoosier still?
I will consider myself a Hoosier.
Okay. Okay. Have you lived anywhere outside of America?
Yes, I have. So when I was in college, I decided on a whim, I suppose, that I was going to study Russian. And Russian, yes, so the Russian language, and then also the culture and literature. I don't know why I found it so intriguing, but I took a course at IU in Bloomington where I was going to college, and I loved it. And then the next thing I knew, I was signing up for the next basic step, which is, of course, to live in Russia, to study there. So
how was that, Alex?
It's actually warmer than people think. I think everyone envisions everyone in these giant coats and hats, and but it was it was definitely a cultural experience.
When I think of Russia, I think of such harshness, that aggressiveness. They're so military-like, you know what I mean?
There's an element. I think it's just like any place you go. The culture is different. I would say that I made so many friends, but it's a process. It's just like in any place to meet new people.
Are they friendly to receive with open arms, or you have to earn that?
I think it's more of, but from what I found, once you got to know someone, then they were so welcoming and so warm. But it was getting to that position of
that's a process to get to that.
Yes. Yeah. But in general, something that I did notice, and I was in a bigger city, which can be a bigger city thing, but I lived in St. Petersburg, and it's really not normal for you to just randomly smile at people. And I came from the Midwest, and I actually had to be told, stop smiling. It's unsettling to people.
Why is that, though?
It's a cultural thing, and also I think that part of it was I was in a city of many millions of people, and I don't know that you would do that in New York either. I think in New York.
In New York, you're not. You don't speak unless spoken to or something.
Yeah, so I think there's a little bit of that, but then also I think it was just a cultural norm, and I learned that wasn't something that Midwest Hoosier hospitality isn't exactly welcome.
After studying there, would you go back to live for any period of time?
I think I wouldn't go there to live forever, but I would love to go back and immerse myself again. My language skills have really gotten rusty.
Well, you don't use it all the time.
Very rarely do I use it in Fort Wayne, Indiana. So I think it would be lovely to go, but I don't envision myself living there for the rest of my life.
Okay. So, so your job in Fort Wayne, what all does it entail?
Nothing to do with my Russian degree, so I can tell you that. I can tell you that now. I know it makes no sense. So I actually have degrees in political science and Slavic language and literature. So those are not things that necessarily took away from what I do now, but they aren't necessarily either something that makes sense.
You're not active with that, right, but every now and then it comes in your work, though.
What do they call it in liberal arts? The well-rounded individual is what I became.
A well-rounded individual.
So in my job now, what I get to do is actually on the back end of things is build out programs. I get to talk to a lot of different business leaders, community leaders, advocate for public art, educate the community about the importance of public art, and then I go from that to sometimes working directly with an artist and negotiating what the design might look like and negotiating what they might get paid to do the job that we need them to do. So it kind of runs a pretty wide range, but I would say interfacing with people in Russia or interfacing with people in New York, all of that has made me better at what I do now.
Person.
Yeah.
Alex, you think, I always think of the youths. You think that like a program or involvement that you're in should be like in the schools to or start in the schools because I mean there's a lot of good artists, young artists in these schools around Fort Wayne here. You just want to see the art department and see the stuff that they put out, you know, but they not knowing where to a place that will absorb their skills or whatever. So, what would you say to who is you know, coming out of these schools right now and still want to be an artist in a sense?
So a couple of things. I know I do a lot of outreach with the local schools. We do with the Scholastic program, Art This Way, and the Downtown Improvement District this year partnered with some of the winners and gave them prizes for their participation in the Scholastic Awards. So they know we exist, which is part of the goal, is to let them know that we're here as a resource, and also they could potentially apply to do a mural. But we also partner with the University of St. Francis, their art department, and we have a project that we're doing right now actually where all the students, so we'll involve, they've created a mural course there at the university, and in 2018 we started this partnership, and they installed, students and Professor Tim Parsley installed one of the murals in the alleyways that you're familiar with, Walt Whitman. It's the big floral one with the blue background.
Okay, I've seen that. I've seen them all.
Yeah, so that was that partnership with the University of St. Francis, and so this year we're getting to do it again in another location downtown. So a different class of students is going to get that experience and build their resume and have a better idea of how to install murals.
So, are these murals? I mean, how are they funded?
Oh, a lot of work. So,
you know, I mean, is it by grants or is it by donations from big companies or?
It's a lot of the combination of all of those. So I end up writing quite a few grants each year. We also see quite a few corporate sponsorships come in annually. It's usually different businesses, but it's always a very generous donation because they're seeing the benefit to them when the city looks better. They're able to recruit better workers or the larger workforce.
Or more companies will want to come into a beautiful city to set up their business or to expand their business as well.
Yeah, so we're really seeing that is a big reason why we're seeing additional funding, is that they're understanding the cause and effect relationship.
Art is great, isn't it?
It is great. I love it. And I think that the other thing that we're really always grateful for is the smaller donations, the private donations, an individual who just really likes the project and decides to donate.
Later on, I'm going to ask you if somebody wants to donate, you know, how they do this and you know, what they go through to get it. But I, for one, think it's an improvement when I walk. I'm not looking at a crappy looking alleyway and chips and all like that. I'm looking at artwork, which covers everything. It beautifies everything. It makes it a nice, clean city. You know, but there's still places for more.
There's lots of canvases out there. There's a lot of canvas in downtown Fort Wayne. So every year we do as many projects as we can, but last year we did a total of 9 projects in downtown Fort Wayne, and we hope to continue that trend and keep doing bigger and better ones.
Right, you said 9 projects in downtown Fort Wayne. What about the other side of Fort Wayne, which is the south side of Fort Wayne, which is a whole different demographics in a way, and that part, I've been told, years ago was Fort Wayne. That's where everything happened, you know, in that vibrant. Now these places are closed. There's a big theater down there. It's called Rialto, I think. It's closed. And I'm thinking, could that be remodeled and turned into something for the performing arts or something like that? You don't go there for film. You go there to see acting. You go there to see dancing. You go there to see, you know, things that you know. I think we need more of this for our city to
Oh,
grow.
I agree. So I'll answer that in two ways. One, the Art This Way program that I manage is we work under a tax district. So the Downtown Improvement District is our home, basically.
Okay.
So we have district lines drawn, and it's basically an opt-in program. And the funding to provide for the existence of a Downtown Improvement District is because those taxpayers are paying into having it. So those 99 blocks of the Downtown Improvement District is where Art This Way programs, because that's where our money comes from. So an answer to expanding programming is that the Public Art Commission recognizes that we need to infuse more artwork into neighborhoods, and we need to put it all over the city and not just in downtown. So I sit on the Public Art Commission, and I know that this is a fledgling program, and it is hard to facilitate art. I can say that firsthand. And so I think in this next year, we should see at least 4 projects from them that will not be downtown, but will be outside in the neighborhoods.
Oh, like going south more maybe?
Yes, so I think it's the 4 quadrants. So I think we have southeast, southwest, northeast, and northwest are the 4 areas that will receive.
When you go like this way, Broadway or so, there are some buildings that have murals on it, and like every couple of years it changes or whatever, but there's some serious artwork that is there. But there's just that one building, like, you know what I mean?
The one on the side of the brass rail, maybe?
I think it's on the right hand side going there. I don't remember what's on it, but I know it's art. It's painted. You know.
there's some really beautiful ones on
And
there.
right there at Broadway, there's a little store been there for years, and like every owner has a different artwork on it. It looks so.
Yeah. Oh, I know where you're talking about now. It's closer to George's Market.
Yes, across-
Okay. Yes, I'm
Good.
familiar. Yes, that's my neighborhood. I was trying to place the mural.
Okay,
Yes,
yeah.
and you're right. It does. It evolves. So,
Yes.
so you have the different kinds of art that maybe a mural that's professionally installed, that's commissioned by the city, that will last and be there for 50 years. And then you do have those other walls that maybe are a little bit more organic, and artists are given an opportunity to continuously change and basically contribute to the community.
It's like every time I see art, in fact, I'm in a big class. Hey, can you stop for a minute and let me? I want to come out. I don't want to take a picture of it because I don't want to rob the essence of it. I want to come back to view it again to inspire me when I need to be inspired. You know, so, and I think that's what's happening with the art in the alley here. Because people like, I think I want to go back downtown and walk through and look at those things. And what is I find very nice is that if you are, what do you say, sighted or blind? What's the term?
Visually impaired, blind.
Visually
Yeah, you
impaired.
can be.
You can know what's on the one mirror because there is a, you can touch and feel a little plaque.
Yes. So we did, on several of our projects, it's with a 3D printer. Basically, we had to create from the 2D mural image a 3D file that allowed for the printer to create something that was tactile. And we did it because there's a Paralympic qualifier that happens in Fort Wayne now, and that's through the Turnstone organization. So we had guests in our city, anywhere from 500 to 800 people who identify as visually impaired.
Okay.
And they were at the Grand Wayne Center. And so when they are told, what can you do in the city, obviously that was something that we wanted to provide them, a resource, so that when they came, if they can't actually experience it the same way you or I can, they can experience it a different way. And so we created that as well as a QR code on the plaque, so that someone could hold up their smartphone, hear the artist talk about the piece, and listen to some music, and then feel the sign to understand what the artwork was.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful. There's like it's near to the zoo, I think, in Indianapolis, like a boardwalk. You walk down by the river, and it's so. There's one section with like a granite wall, and there's a a ship on it, and all who served on this Navy ship and all like that, and there's different. You can walk for 2 hours and not get bored. It it just makes you learn about the city that you're in and the people and the whole state by just walking along that, And I'd like to see more done with our rivers here.
I think there are some plans, but I know that at the rate we're going and the way we're headed, I envision things like that happening over the next decade. Like that's the future I see for our city.
Yeah. It's like one thing brings the other out, and then, yes, you can have something. Okay. Well, hey, this is our break right here. We're taking a break right here. Okay. And be back. Don't go nowhere.
Swing your arms, shake your hips, now do a dip. Ska, 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 Jamaica ska, 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 do the ska.
And now we're back. And thanks for not leaving us and sitting in your cozy chair in your living room and watching us. I thank you for being there for us. And the beautiful lady, which is my guest tonight, Miss Alex. Now, you have a point you want to bring up, which is so paramount here, like I've been to other places, other cities, and seen things that they've done. And I wonder if we could adapt a little bit of that, or there's a plan to adapt that in our building of our own city. Well, something happening in another city might not necessarily be conducive to us or help us in any way, but we could put a spin on it. All right, off the top of my head, like the promenade down there.
Yeah.
I'd like to walk down there in the evening time about 8 o'clock and hear a guy blowing a saxophone, playing some love songs romantically along that.
Yes.
That kind, and people would know, well, hey, I want to take you out. Well, I wouldn't want to eat or whatever. Just go out with me. And they say, well, let's walk, have a stroll along the promenade and listen to a guy blowing.
And come across a musician, right?
Yeah.
Right. So some of those, in some cities, that happens organically. I do know that I reference Eastern Market in Detroit. They actually have a busking program where they pay people on a cycle to play only for so much time in each position, and then they switch out. And that compensates the musicians, but also adds that atmosphere. So what if we were to, I don't know, take a similar concept, flip it on its head, do it how we need it done, but create your saxophone atmosphere as you walk along Promenade Park.
Yeah, even a guy who plays a good guitar or solo thing by himself, and he could, I got to go. Jim so-and-so is playing there for an hour. I got to go. It's a Thursday evening or a Sunday or whatever, and you go down and you listen to that, and you enjoy the sights. You take your kids, they can put the party in the little streams and all like that, and everybody feel good.
Yes, and it's also the discovery of something like that, right? Because you just feel like you've caught this atmosphere in this moment that is special and will never happen the same way again, right? And there's something in that that's magic. And that's what you want to create, these experiences.
We were at the promenade and we were shooting a little bit, and then this lady had these dogs. You remember that? The big dogs, and they were just all over me and all like that, And I asked her, so where you from? Because she was from Indy, one was from Ohio, and she said, I never been to Fort Wayne before, but now I'm gonna come back, because we don't have this where we at. And I said, oh boy.
Isn't that wonderful when you hear it?
Yeah, yeah. I couldn't act so surprised right then, but after I said, oh man, we got something that they don't have. Yeah. But a lot of these places have things that we don't have, Like there's this granite wall, there in Indy when you walk down on that the boardwalk,
Yes.
like whatever. You can go into a restaurant, or you can go to a little cafe outside. You can order something, a cup of coffee, or a piece of pastry, or whatever. And you walk in, there's this granite wall, and there's a ship etched into it, and all the names of the people who served. It was a battleship.
A memorial wall.
A memorial,
Yeah.
a memorial, you know. I think we have a lot of people who have passed on in Fort Wayne that need to be memorialized somehow, you know, other than just the Coliseum Memorial Building, you know. What if you could walk along the river and there's this beautiful garden effort and a slab of granite there and names on it, you know, if you are Farnsworth, what's his name, TV guy.
Yes. Farnsworth.
Yeah, you know, names like that. I understand we had riverboats going through here, you know, something depicting that, you know, in its knowledge.
Right. So I think that that's at the essence of it, right? We see something like that in Indianapolis. We do have things like that in Fort Wayne, but where they are maybe aren't as accessible and they aren't part of this like larger piece, right?
Yes.
So if we saw a saxophonist on the corner, on a really busy corner on Coliseum, you're not going to likely have pedestrians be there just strolling around to discover him, right?
No.
So this is a scenario where you're saying, like, here is something that I know I would like to see that would contribute to my experience, and putting all those pieces strategically within that footprint. And that's part of the joy of being involved in this city, is that you actually do kind of have the ability to plant that seed.
And you get the rewards.
And if you want to, you can really fight for it.
Yes.
And sometimes you see things like that happen, and it changes things for everyone in the community. And that's what I do like about our city, is that you can see that thing in Indy, and you can switch it up and bring it here, and you can see that thing in I don't know, Texas or California, and do something totally unique here
You
too.
could take something from Venice with a little
yes, our gondoliers.
Yeah.
Why not bring in some
and
gondoliers?
we have very steady rivers here. You know,
Yes.
you could go sit on it.
You actually wouldn't have to do much rowing. It's a pretty like.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, I think all of those things and more, right? So I think that we're in that unique position where we are small enough that we have the ability to be flexible and to make those things happen at the rate that other places couldn't. But we also are big enough that we have the budget and we have the momentum to make these things happen.
You know, this is a nice city. Look at our fort that we have
Yes.
down here. Well, it would be nice if you could get on a little gondola or a boat ride, whatever, and there's a dock you pull up there and you go check out the fort and get back on your ride. You know,
I know.
something like that.
Yeah, so I know that the canal boat is a really big option, and it's really difficult to book that for just you and your family. But the Rum Runners boats, have you seen those?
I've seen those.
Yes.
Yeah.
So those are probably as close as you'll get to like a tour boat right now, besides the airboat.
Yeah.
But that's something that maybe is the future of our city, is the water taxi concept, where you're able to get on at different points along the river and go down to the 07 pub and catch a movie at the Clyde, or a show at the Clyde rather, and then take your water taxi up to the deck and get out and have drinks
Like
and
in
walk around the
like in
promenade.
Chicago,
Exactly.
you can get on the lunch boat and you have lunch on the river
Yes,
right there.
maybe, I mean, these are all exciting. Maybe that's where we're going, and we'll
You never
see.
know.
You can link it to the 05 and get out and get a coffee. And
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to take the water taxi every day.
Yeah.
Speaking of Venice,
Oh, Venice. I've never been, but it's on my list. If I could ever afford it, I would go, because it's such an old city.
so old, yes, and
and it has
beautiful.
such history, and as old as it is, it's still vibrant in a modern day concept. You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've been, I actually wouldn't recommend going. I went around the winter time, and we had ice rain the whole time. It was not as pleasant.
Yeah, in
It
the
was still a
summer.
beautiful city, but it can be more touristy in the summer, so I thought, oh, well, we'll go in the winter, and that was like the opposite. Tourism season was over, things were pretty closed down, but still just walking in that city is really a beautiful experience. And I don't know, I make a point of travel for the purposes of being inspired. So I
So
like
you get new
to-
ideas
Yes.
to put into different projects
Yes.
or into your same projects.
Exactly.
Like a
So-
refueling.
Exactly. For
Yeah.
me, I get quite a lot of what it is that I do, my passion, my energy from interactions with people and also getting to experience new things. So for me to go to Venice or to go make a point to go to California and visit a friend, that can really help refuel me. That's just brought up Venice. That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah. But you know, to be honest, Alex, I enjoy our little chat, you know, and like I said, this is the consciousness, and we just spreading the word out there. And Fort Wayne, look out, world, Fort Wayne is coming.
Agreed.
Yeah, yeah. So I want to thank y'all for joining me for the consciousness and my beautiful guests, and I'll be back with you soon. Thank you so much.